what are like some of the key technological aspects that you would say are necessary for the growth and sustainability of GameSeta?
Um, so GameSeta like relies um, on online web application, like I told you. It is under development right now. The online platform will make it walk in the park for schools when it comes to setting up esports league in their respective schools. Teachers, which will be known as coaches, would be able to have full control over their student activities, like any coach in a regular sport. Student will be able to compete on a provincial level and keep track of their stats from all the game publishers um, that will be listed on our platform. So if we go into further depth, it's like how many kills you have, how many deaths, so KDA ratio, right? And then how helpful you were as a team player, because you also get points for that in a game. Were you being selfish, or were you taking the whole team, right? So all that is actually just into the platform, and I think which makes it very uh, that's why we keep saying it's a tech startup, because without the online platform, there it's nothing that we are solving. I mean, we can still do it, but it's just using greater man force, which is which can be done by a computer program. And I mean, we are using technology to make it easy for schools and students, while at the same time making sure that students feel that their achievements are being noticed. Um, and there is a way to do that in our platform. And they can participate in a competitive, controlled environment with rules that would make it fair for everyone. So I think it has a really great technological perspective to the whole uh, company, right? Like without that, I think it's we can still go somewhere, but it would take us years that we can achieve in just a few months.
And I always love how you guys are incorporating. I'm really thinking about the students and how um, you guys can really like help them and understand their needs, right? Especially, you know, um, like during this time when, or like when students are just having more time on gaming than going outside, then you're really recognizing that um, the key factors of like teamwork and like collaboration and just helping them, I guess, not only like have fun but also grow, right? Yeah, my next question for you guys would just be in terms of reaching out to these coaches and these students, what would you say are the most important factors to consider when managing the marketing for Growing Startup?
The most important factor would be understanding our audience, our target segment. So, yes, we are targeting high school students, but we also need to consider part of our target segment is school, teachers, the school administrator, and also parents. So, understanding each one of these segments, will like to understand what are the key concerns are like when it comes to esports, and trying to deliver the key messages it's very important. For example, like the channels that we use to deliver our messages, it might be different for every target segments. For example, for students, especially those who are like playing games, they're more like using other channels like Discord, that where we can actually communicate with them. And so understanding each segments and how to deliver our key messages is one of the most important factor in marketing. And also for us, like because we are a startup, basically building that online presence and like brand awareness is the key for us. And yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. So really maximizing all of the channels, right, and how to reach these students. Especially, I found that Discord is really growing a lot, right, during these times. And so where people can really collaborate. It's a great tool, right, for people to meet other people.
Yeah, I mean,
Meet students meet other students, right?
yeah, Discord is like messenger for gamers. So You can say that.
That's great. Planning process and really understanding like how like the organization like really works kind of on like your guys' side and building it like internally and externally. I was just wondering, what are some of like the most valuable lessons that you've learned from working in the startup?
For everyone, it's everyone has like a different lessons that they go on forward with. But for me, it was there were two things. One was that keeping it organized. Um, I mean, people don't think it's a great deal in the beginning. Like they would have like a big mess. Everything is here and there, and you don't really know what's going on. But I would say that if you know that if you make like proper folders or you use any other kind of software, um, then it becomes way easier. You keep on track for all the things. I remember Tawanda, in the beginning, our documents would be everywhere, and then we were like, okay, what are we doing today? Like, oh, where is that document? Right? It would take so much time just like finding those things. But since we started like organizing all the documents or what we were working on, our lives became way more simpler, and everything was actually start moving faster. The other valuable lesson I would say is that don't rush into 5-year future plan when you're like just like starting a startup. Like maybe think about what are you going to do in the next 3 4, maybe have a 3 4 months vision and then go on from there. Because in the beginning, when you put everything, like for example in our case, when you're thinking about online platform, you're like, oh, I want to put this feature, this feature, this feature, and at one time you would be so occupied with it, you will forget what was the main purpose of that platform, right? So just keep things slowly, and just yeah, just like focus on the main points, main objective of your startup. What is it going to do? And then once you go reach to once you're near the finish line, then start thinking about the other stuff.
Great. I really like how, you know, it's because I feel like a lot of people like in the startup culture, they're just like, oh, I want to like go really fast in this, and first everyone gets really excited and amped, but it's just really staying organized and keeping it like one thing at a time, right? And setting those goals.
So I really like what Rana mentioned, like in terms of like organizing. Like I've talked to other friends that who like recently started their own business, and I always like recommend like whatever I learned from this job. Like I always try to actually deliver to my friend, like to help them like to grow their business. And one thing that I mentioned to them, like try to keep your documents in one place, try to like use this, like I always introduce them the different platforms. And what I hear from them, like, oh, it's too early, we're not even to that point. But I disagree, because if you don't start like being organized or more strategy at the very beginning, it's really hard to actually manage everything later on the road when you add more people to your team. So I would say from day one, it's really good to use any softwares or anything platform that will help your business, like to be more organized and like more strategic. That would be really helpful. And there's so many lessons I've honestly learned by joining the startup. One of them is that usually in a startup culture, like there's no one to tell you what to do. Like you always, sometimes you need to think about what needs to be done and take initiative. Like I joined GameSeta like to help with marketing activities, but I also ended up like helping to and run with business developments and business sides. So just be willing to help with any aspect of business if it's needed. And there is no right or wrong thing. It's always like a learning journey. So it's okay if you fail. If it's okay, it doesn't work, try a new thing. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think it's great um, to really just focus that you're mentioning. Like focusing on the process, right? It's you're you guys are building this right all together, right? It's not just like one like event, that's it, right? It's really take into account like really enjoying, I feel like, and learning like each step of the way, right? It's like a continual process, right?
And just to add to that, and Ryan and Venus, you guys like nailed it. You like run all the main points. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've learned is and through like advice as well, like there's no rules, like there's no rules to this game that we're playing. It's like, I mean, like we went to school, we got told, like we read all these marketing books, all these things about things that you have to do. But yeah, I think the first lesson is there's no rules. You wake up every day, you just have to go. You just have to knock down barriers and just keep on like trying to like figure out ways for you to like get to the next level. And a lot of the time we spend a lot of time like creating a lot of like barriers within ourselves, telling us that, oh, I can't do this because like I have to sign this document. Oh, I have to like talk to the government. No, you don't. You just have to do it. I mean, like, one of our advisors told us like the other day was just like, yeah, if you like do something wrong, like the value of your company is like pretty like low when you start. So like the risk that you're taking very early on is like you're not really like losing much. So what do you have to lose? So just go for it. And yeah, I mean, like for me, that's the biggest thing. And the second thing I learned is take every opportunity you have to like sell your company. Any single person that I meet with, I'm always telling them about GameSeta. I'm always telling them, oh, this is what GameSeta is doing. This is what we're doing as a company. And also make sure before you even like reach, it's like almost like a sense of like manifestation. I think it's important as a team as well. You all have to like believe in what you're doing and be proud of what you're doing, because people can see that. People can see the passion, right? People can see how you're proud of your company. And if you're proud of your company, wherever you go, you talk about it and you say, this is what we're doing. Some people will be like, oh, that might not work, but you just keep on saying, this is what I'm doing, right? And then one day when your company makes it, people will be like, wow, they were always consistent. They always knew what they were doing. And that's something that we share as a team, that we're proud about what we're doing a lot. And we really enjoy what we're doing for sure. And people can see that. And I think that helps as well.
That's great. Yeah, talking to you guys, I could really feel it, the passion. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's great too that you mentioned too that it's interesting perspective about like there's no like rules, because in school we're so used to having all the like structured life, but then after like graduation, it's like the world is essentially your oyster, right? And I really like where you guys are going with and yeah, I think it's amazing.